coming online to abundance, coming online to wholeness, coming online to fullness, coming online to worthiness. I'm Dr. Flo, back again today, not telling you what I heard, but what I know. One of the many things I know is that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable, and you're always going to be loved and lovable. Another thing I know is that you are imperfectly perfect, whole and complete exactly as you are, and you have everything in your hands right now to be amazing in the world if you desire it. And I also know that you got to believe in yourself and be full of yourself. We cannot be full of anyone else. We must be full of ourselves. And I know today that peace is possible. Not only is peace possible externally, but especially peace is possible inside. I've had such a calm morning. I took a 2-hour walk this morning that my left knee is feeling. But it was amazing. And that plus the coffee got my heart rate up, got me into a good vibration for the day. I did an Instagram live this morning that's now available over on our Substack and Spotify. So if you want a bit of 12 minutes of encouragement in addition to this today, you're more than welcome to partake in the goodness. I wanted to start today also by thanking everybody who is listening to the podcast and checking out our newsletter. We are not screaming into the abyss. We're actually talking to people. There's about 20 or so people who engage our content every day. So that feels good because that's not zero. That's someone tapping into this feeling, this sensation, this vibration of loved and lovable. Once you truly make the decision in your life that you are loved and lovable, no one will be able to talk you out of that, and you become essentially non-stoppable. No one can stand in the way of a person who knows that they're loved. No one can talk to someone any kind of way when they're loved and lovable. And all sorts of doors and energies open up to you once you tap into that fullness. I did a little bit of that, a little bit of this morning. Today's mindful message card is to dance it out. Dance it out. Thank you to StarlightMysticBotanica.com for sending over these cards to increase the mindful messages that go downstream into the community. I'm very grateful for you and your divine presence. Today's card is dance it out. Dance it out. I can move emotions through my body by dancing. Whenever I start to feel built up energy or crankiness, I will play some music and move intuitively. I don't have to look a certain way, simply move and feel as the stress or heaviness begins to ease out of my body. Once again, today's mindful message is dance it out. I can move emotions through my body by dancing. Whenever I start to feel built up energy or crankiness, that happens to us all, I will play some music and move intuitively. I don't have to look a certain way, simply move and feel as the stress or heaviness begins to ease out of my body. Move a little bit, shake a little bit, allow all of that negativity to fall off of you. I've been saying all week, it would seem that so many people have an aversion to rejoicing about the present moment. I know that the bombs are falling. I know that many are working multiple jobs to make ends meet. I know that so many people are hungry spiritually, emotionally, and physically. I recognize all of that. But wouldn't today also be better for us all if we chose to embrace some level of joy and connection? Positivity to our spirit, giving back to ourselves, no matter what. Just for today, I will choose to be happy. I will choose to align with the goodness that is me and the goodness that is my life. And I will not allow anyone to talk me out of being happy on this Wednesday, April the 17th. Remember, my happiness can only come from me. It can come from nowhere else. And so I'm going to be serious, not too serious, but serious enough about finding joy in today. And I know that there's so many people who think that we have nothing to be happy about. I'm happy because it's Wednesday. I'm happy because I'm taking breaths. I'm happy because I'm loved and lovable. I'm happy just because. I don't really need a lot of reasons to be happy beyond the fact that I exist. And unfortunately, society and life has taught us that we need reasons to be happy. That essentially we need 15, 10, 25,000 reasons to not be cranky, as the card says in our day. What if we were just joyful because it's a better feeling vibration than being miserable? And I know that misery loves company. People will gravitate around negativity. They will talk your head off and watch 24-hour news cycles around the political divisiveness of our country and black mama, white mama, made up racial constructs. None of that's real. What's real is love. And today I get to actually sit in on a day that I've not been able to do in quite a few months. It is Heart Chakra Wednesday for those of you who participate in our ecosystem of love. For the last year plus, we have been using Poppy Wata's 7-day pillar challenge in order to tap us into our chakra energy. Chakra is a Sanskrit word that means wheels. These are the turning wheels and center points of our body that either move fluidly when we're having a positive life, or sometimes they begin to kind of grind a little bit and maybe even come to a screeching halt if we're not taking care of ourselves. Actually, before I move into today's heart chakra, I wanted to speak first about the 6 pillars of self-care that we engage here in our network. These days, and we're always changing here because change is good for us. These days, we are engaging 6 areas of self-care. Some of you who were over in the Bigo Live and other places earlier saw me engage the top one. Physical self-care. I had lunch, I had coffee, I have water close by. Physical self-care. We'll break these down in 1 second before we move back into the chakra systems. Emotional self-care, social self-care, mental self-care, spiritual self-care, and practical self-care. I'll read a little bit about each one. Physical self-care. When you practice physical self-care, you make the decision to look after and restore the one physical body that has been bestowed upon you. You care for it. You use it in the best way you can imagine, for that is what the universe wishes you to do. You can't light the world on fire or move mountains if you're not doing everything you can to take care of your physical health. So one of the self-care areas that we engage here is physical self-care. Emotional self-care. Emotional self-care is when you take the time to acknowledge and care for your inner self and your emotional well-being. There are emotion wheels and other tools available at lovedandlovable.org. If you are a little off in your emotions today, which happens to all of us, I would encourage you, as the mindful message card said to do, to move your body and also move your energy around. It could look like emotional self-care. Some people even attend the Daily Boost from Love and Action Network as a way to plug into their emotional self-care. Social self-care. Ooh, what a doozy for an introvert like me. You practice social self-care when you nurture your relationships with others, be they friends, co-workers or family members. In today's hectic world, it's easy to let relationships fall to the wayside. It's so important to share your life with others and let others share their lives with you. Social self-care is reciprocal and often karmic. The support and love you put out into the universe through social self-care is given back to you by those you socialize with, often tenfold. Like I said, as an introvert, I'm often overstimulated by life and people. So this prescription here is to kind of engage more. My needs are to actually engage less. But it is what it is, because that also applies to the next area of self-care, mental self-care. Mental self-care is anything that keeps your mind working quickly and critically. It helps you cut through the fog of the day, week, or year, and ensures that your quick wit and sharp mind are intact and working the way the cosmos intended. Making sure your mind is fit helps you problem solve. It decreases stress, which of course Louise Hay talked about in the morning session. So many people are stressed because of their mental fixations and their mind viruses. So I also talked about the correlation yesterday of stress and being tired. Are you really tired, or are you thinking the same thoughts over and over again, and now you're into this like bored vibration of just tired of thinking the same thing? How's that translating into your physical body? Maybe you need to do what I did this morning. I just went for a 2-hour walk this morning. I just felt inclined on my drive back home from dropping off Poppy Water to just go for a walk. And I didn't stop walking until my heart said, enough. It's time for coffee. But taking care of these things can help you decrease that stress if you're feeling overwhelmed. And it keeps you feeling on top of your mental game no matter what your situation is. All right. The fifth area of self-care is spiritual self-care, which some people say, oh, this is hocus pocus, like I'm just me, I exist on the planet, you're born, you live, and you die. Some people don't believe that there's anything else going on, and that's fine too, as long as you're happy, healthy, and free from all suffering. But some of us are interested in matters of the spirit. Some of us have recognized that while the physical life is fun on its own, there's something else that is moving in our nervous system. There's something else that is moving in our heart energy. There's something else that is calling us from the inside. It's no secret here that I'm currently reading in a book club of one, which I love it because I need to grow. If I'm not growing, then there's a problem. Especially as a leader. If you're a leader and you're not growing in some area, eek. But we're recognizing now that a lot of the spiritual nature of our lives are actually constructed in our brains, which is the good news, especially for us crazy people who make other people crazy. We're now recognizing that a lot of our spiritual ideas are exactly those ideas. And you can pick up and put down ideas whenever you'd like. Just because your mama's mama had an idea, your father's father had an idea about spirituality or about life doesn't mean that that's something that you need to do today. Remember, we have an affirmation here at Love and Action Network that we let go of all of the things that do not serve us. And so maybe there's a piece of your spirituality that just doesn't feel good to you anymore. I would encourage you to spit it out today. Just spit it out. It is not good for you to chew on everybody else's spiritual food, Spiritual self-care is self-care that allows you to tap into your soul and the soul of the universe and uncover its secrets. Remember, like we talked about yesterday, folks, I don't think that I'm separate from the universe. We talk about this often, that my mother ate the apple became my mother, My mother will eventually die. She will then become the soil that nourishes the apple tree that someone else will eat, and that will become a child. And that child will then grow up, and then that child will grow and develop into an adult that will then die and become the soil that becomes the apple tree whom someone else will eat. And this will go on until they say that the sun will eventually explode one day and obliterate everything. It's just a circle. And so I don't separate myself from the universe. I know that I'm one with the universe, and that's part of the soul. In fact, this is good. This is good. This is good. That is very good. That is very good news. Good. Very good. Very good. Believe it or not, I do check on select people. And when they come back saying that they are alive and well, it makes me happy. Believe it or not. Spiritual self-care is self-care that allows you to tap into your soul and the soul of the universe. Rather than focusing on a particular religion or a set of religious beliefs, these types of self-care activities reconnect you with a higher power. And they define higher power from yesterday's live as the sense that something out there is bigger than you. When you meditate, you connect. When you pray, you connect. Whenever you do something that allows you to experience and marry yourself to the vastness that is the cosmos, you practice self-care. And so just, you may not want to believe in anything. Y'all know that I'm a part-time agnostic and atheist myself. I'm not completely sold anymore on the things that you all are sold on. And I rarely believe exactly what you believe in. Because how's that working out for us? So because of that, it's a very personal thing. And so whatever you use to connect you into the cosmos, go for it. If it increases a happiness, healthiness, and freedom from suffering in you. Last self-care area is practical self-care. Self-care is what you do to take care of yourself. And practical self-care, while not as expansive as the other types, it's made up of the seemingly small day-to-day tasks that bring you peace and accomplishment. I don't know about you today, but I am very, very peaceful, and I'm very accomplished. The reason why I feel very peaceful and accomplished today is because I've lowered the expectation in my life personally on what it takes to actually have peace. I've lowered the expectation on what it means to be accomplished. Society at large will continue to up the ante or create barriers to your peace. I'll be peaceful when I have $20,000 in the bank. I'll be peaceful when my friends call me back. I'll be peaceful after I attend 600 church services. And so putting those kinds of requirements on yourself for a feeling of peace and a feeling of accomplishment. I use those words very intentionally. It's all feeling, folks. It's all feeling. There are people who have nothing in their lives in terms of physical possessions or material things who are way more peaceful. I know these people. They live in the mountains of Guatemala. I've seen them with my own eyes and met these people. These people in Guatemala, in Antigua or Antica. Antigua is a whole different place that I've also visited. But in both of those places, people are so peaceful even though they don't have a lot of things. What is that about? Their metrics for peace and accomplishment are completely different. We tell people that until you have a bachelor's, master's, doctorate, until you have a 401k, until you got months of income and savings, you're not afforded peace. Hello. You're not afforded peace. You're not afforded accomplishment. You'd be surprised how many people I encounter, especially younger people, who have no sense of accomplishment. This is something that we practically give to ourselves. And you will have to re-up that sense of peace and accomplishment as often as you can. But that's my refresher. I haven't done one in a while. Some of you know that this was a book that I didn't even want Poppy Water to give me, but he insisted that I have it. I've not made it further than page 16 because I just stopped at the What is Self-Care section of the book, chapter 1, where they outline physical, emotional, social, mental, spiritual, and practical self-care. Take care of yourself so that you're better able to take care of others. It's worth it. We're totally worth it. I was going to read something different from Fables and Spells this afternoon, but the page opened serendipitously into a fable or spell by Adrienne Maree Brown called Trust the People. Trust the people who move towards you and already feel like home. Trust the people to let you rest. Trust the people to do everything better than you could have imagined. Trust the people and they become trustworthy. Trust that the people are doing their work to trust themselves. Trust that each Trust that each breach of trust can deepen trust or clarify boundaries. We're going to come back for some of these. I got the time today. Trust that each breach of trust can deepen trust or clarify boundaries. Trust the people who revel in pleasure after hard work. Trust the people who let children teach, remind us how to emote, be still, and laugh. Trust the people who see and hold your heart. Trust the people who listen to the whales. She's so silly sometimes. Trust the people and you will become trustworthy. Trust the people and show them your love. Trust the people. Trust the people who move towards you and already feel like home. Trust the people to let you rest. Trust the people to do everything better than you could have imagined. Trust the people and they become trustworthy. All mental construct. Doesn't matter if they actually become more trustworthy or not. You will move as a person in the world who's not paranoid. I have deep trust issues in my life personally because the adult figures in my life were extremely paranoid, ridiculously religious, and distrustful of everyone. My parents had no friends. They were social and had social engagement through the church and other, civic things. But we didn't have people over for dinner. We didn't have sleepovers or anything like that because they were just very distrustful rural people who moved to a bigger city. That's just part of my story. So my father would do weird things. May he rest in power. He would, we'd leave to go on vacation and he would make us all get down in the back of the car to pretend like we were still at the house, I guess. He would set all the timers on the lights and things, and it was just a whole, like, it was just a disaster. Like, every time. This paranoia and general distrust of the other. So I had to learn in my life to reach out beyond my comfort zone and to reach out for the things that I want. And it's been this up and down for me personally, it's varied decade by decade. There were single digit years where I was extremely trustful of people, and mostly trustful of my energy with people and that simpatico, where things just really, really soared. And then there were like the shutdown, like teenage years and things like that, even though I was still doing my thing. Same thing happened in my 20s. Outgoing part of it, then the shutdown. Well, why do people shut down? They shut down because life happens. They shut down because breakups happen, fallouts with friends, betrayals. All sorts of things can happen to you to cause you to lose trust. Even in this last 3, 4 years, 5 years of my life, this up and down of trusting and then becoming distrustful. Mostly anchored in the fact that I did not trust myself. Some other time we can talk about our discussions in this community around the fact that you all will not say ceasefire anytime soon, and you certainly will not realize your dreams as quickly as you could because you do not trust yourself. So many of us lack confidence to actually get the happiness of our lives done once and for all. What's up with that? Why are we scared of being big? Why are we scared of pushing start stream and start recording and just say something of power in the world and change? Trust that the people are doing their work to trust themselves. Ooh. Are they? I gotta trust that so I don't put up barriers. Trust that each breach of trust, those betrayals, those moments when perhaps people are not paying attention to you enough in the chat section. Oh my God. Trust that each breach of trust can deepen trust or clarify boundaries. Trust the people who revel in pleasure after hard work. Trust the people who let children teach. Remind us how to emote, to be still, and laugh. Trust the people who see and hold your heart. Trust the people who listen to the whales. One of my favorite things to do is to listen to the cardinals here in North Carolina. The cardinal is the state bird of Virginia, which is where I'm originally from. But right here in this particular section of the East Coast, there are so many cardinals and so many wonderful birds. If I open this door right now, you would hear the train, lawnmowers, and this wonderful choir of birds. Trust people who listen to birds. Trust the people who listen to whales. People who want to find a gift in the simplicity. Once again, not raising the barrier of accomplishment so high, or the benchmark of accomplishment so high. Not raising the bar of peace so high that you can't reach it. Peace is right outside my back door because I say so. Trust the people and you will become trustworthy. Trust the people and show them love. Trust the people. Easier said than done, but worth it. I have done that, and it's working for me. If you'd like to discuss personally how trusting the people could work for you, our live chat's open on the site. My DMs are open on Instagram. Hit me. All right. That was a large detour to bring us right back to Heart Chakra Wednesday. All about our wellness and love, our ability to express love and also be loved in return. The color is green. I didn't put any on today because I needed blue for my personal confidence. But feel free to put green on your body if you want to concentrate on wisdom, money, luck, abundance, fertility, healing, manifestation, being one with nature, and also trusting yourself. The way that we prescribe the use of color magic in Love in Action Network is that you really want to be intentional with your life, mindful and intentional. So if you know, and we all know, the areas of our lives that need work. In fact, most Americans are hyper fixated on their areas of improvement. If you know that you need more wisdom in your life, you can put on green intentionally to just call it in. Wearing a green t-shirt or a green hoodie may not make you more wise. There's a lot of fools out in the world as we speak who are wearing a lot of green. It's not that kind of magic. It's that you, by putting it on, are asking your subconscious mind to tap you into more of these things. And it does work. We've been doing color magic in our family unit and in the Love in Action Network for well over a year now. And I'm always now noticing green things. There is a pride flag, a very large one that hangs in the main studio and living room space. And there's a giant green strip that goes through that. And whenever I see it throughout the house, I'm always reminded of the fertile nature of life. How the grass outside of this window in front of me has never ever yelled out in complaint. I've never heard the green grass in all of its abundance saying, please, would you send me some water? Please, can I eat today? I'm reminded through the color of green that the earth is healing all the time. Despite what the news cycles say, our hearts and the world is healing. It really is about what you want to be fascinated with. Color magic gives us an attraction point into the areas in which our minds are fascinated on these things. Do you want to be fascinated on foolishness or fascinated on wisdom? Do you want to be fascinated on your lack of money and resources, or do you want to be fascinated with the ideas that you have that can make a lot of money for you? And so we just choose to use these colors. Today the color is green, to be fascinated on something that has a higher vibration. Things like trust and moving at the speed of trust. You can eat foods like kiwis, limes, green apples, and leafy greens. Once again, leafy greens will always be good for you. Fiber does help you poop. But it's not about the leafy greens as much as where your attention is focused while you eat them. You can use the affirmation, I love, to call you into a higher vibration of contentment. I'm going to go briefly over to lovedandlovable.org. I invite all of you to go there today if you have not gone recently to check it out. There's a bottom plus sign that says click here to start to heal your emotions. This is not navel gazing. I don't bring up this site consistently because I built it. Anybody can build a website. It's not that hard in 2024 to build a website. So there's no abracadabra about that or specialness there. It's more about the tools that are there, like the emotional guidance scale. So many people today will be engaging boredom, pessimism, frustration, irritation, impatience, overwhelmment, disappointment, doubt, worry, blame, discouragement, anger, revenge. Wow. And it just gets deeper and deeper. The reason why I say wow with revenge, I cannot tell you the last time I had a vengeful thought. Sincerely. I'm not better than anybody in the room. I don't have vengeful thoughts because I know that the universe is very self-correcting. So any ill will towards me or anything that happens that someone points in my direction, they're usually pointing it at their bosses or pointing it at other loved ones, or, they're pointing it at someone who's going to make them have a bad day. I may not make them have a bad day, but eventually they're going to get got. Because how you are in one area of your life is how you are in all areas of your life. Which is why you see me in these very professional feeds, because no matter how I look or what's on my head or what I'm wearing or anything like that, or how crazy the beard is, my professional standard is, right? Even on my worst days. Because how you are in one area of your life is how you are in all areas of your life. If you lack consistency or a positive resolve in one area, it's going to show up all over the place. Jealousy then comes from that. Hatred, rage, insecurity, guilt, unworthiness, fear, grief, depression, powerlessness, and victimhood. Woo! Ciao. Which is why we have the affirmation every Wednesday. And you can use these affirmations every day to get what you need. I love being able to go live and share my legacy project with the world. I love being able to leave behind these little breadcrumbs in my life of tools and tricks and hacks and ideas that have benefited my life. I would not be here if I did not believe in the amazing power of all of us to change today for the better. If I didn't believe that I could change, I'd be dead. I am a formerly perpetually suicidal person. Never thought that things would get better because I didn't believe that I could change and that situations could change. Even though things are changing all the time, I didn't see that for myself. So it's easy to just spiral all the way down to emotion level 22 of fear, grief, and depression, and powerlessness and victimhood. So easy to do that unless you become more fascinated with what you love. I love broadcasting. I love encouraging people. I love finding tools and resources for folks. I love unlocking people's voices. I had the opportunity this week to unlock a few young people's voices at a local high school, and then one point I unlocked the whole choir. And that kind of moment of like, I didn't even know I could do that, when you know that people can do amazing things if they believe they can. Wow. I really love that. I love how chill I'm becoming about everything and everybody. I don't care if y'all show up. I don't care if you don't show up. Because guess what? I have peace and I am accomplished. What a freedom for me to not be watching the door to see who's coming and going, but just to know that what I'm doing is of value. That loving place is the gateway to emotion number 7, contentment. And that contentment in what you love in this moment will just spiral you upward into hopefulness, optimism, positive belief and expectation, enthusiasm, passion, and then the top emotion is joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. I think I said it earlier in this live or a different live, but once you recognize that your happiness can only come from you and nowhere else, once you recognize that love and appreciation for yourself emanates from you out into the world, and the people go, oh, I see that he appreciates himself, I'll appreciate him too. You get really, really free. And then you're just having a Wednesday. And like I talked about this morning in the Instagram live that turned into a podcast, available now on Spotify, Love in Action. Just type it in and look for the heart with the running man. If it's not the heart with the running man, it ain't us. But I was talking about how bad things can happen in your life and then color your entire experience unless you allow them just to be a data point. And then find more appreciation. Anyway, we don't have time to talk about all of it today, but those of you who get it, get it. I love. And just focusing on what you love brings that contentment. And that has been like the only thing that I've been focused on for like the last 2 weeks. No matter what happens, no matter what arguments, no matter what disappointments, no matter what. Every moment, including this one, is pregnant with the possibility of being a pleasant experience or an unpleasant experience. And you're programming the whole thing. I'm programming the whole thing, I washed my ass. Tomorrow's payday. In our house, one of them, and I washed my ass today with like baby little chip. Anybody ever like taken a shower or with like the little chips of soap? And for a brief moment, I was pissed. I was like, how did this happen? And then I chose to get over myself and to be grateful for the chips. And I smell fantastic. Was I going to be in pleasantness around the soap chips or unpleasantness? And these micro opportunities are happening every day, all day, to all of us. Where we're fixating, again, there's been this huge theme today in this live around fixation and fascination. Whether it's a trustworthy thing or some other love imbalance or balance, we've been talking all day in this live about this fixation. Are you fixated on what is working for you? A chip of soap on the at the bathroom sink, and a chip of soap on the back railing of the tub, and another chip in the soap dish made 3 chips to wash my ass. Now I could really get fixated on, well, why are there no bars of soap here? Or be grateful. It really is that simple. We want to complicate it We want to make it something different. We're into our stories. We're really obsessed with our stories. But you get to choose whether you want to be good with your life or not. Whether you want to love your life or not. And it ain't got nothing to do with me. And that makes me happy. When you're imbalanced in your heart chakra, you're unable to love. These are the people who go around in life withholding love. You know, I would love that person. I would give them a like stone. I would comment on their stuff, but I don't want them to get too full of themselves. I don't want them to get the impression that they're better than me, so I'm just not going to do it. Right? So you're unable to give a compliment or give a word of affirmation to someone. You're unable to give. You cannot seek passions out. You can't receive love. And you're always looking for external gratification to let you know whether you're right or wrong in the direction of your life. You're like I was in the past, living by the head pat. If people didn't, some people come into my lives every day for the head pat. Does he think I'm loved and lovable today? Fuck me. Do you think that you're loved and lovable today? Fuck me and my opinions. You shouldn't even be seeking a head pat from me. We can come into harmony about being more loving. We can come into harmony about being more loved and lovable. Remember, this loved and lovable thing that I teach is something that sloshes out of you. You fill yourself up with this loved and lovable energy. You carry yourself with loved and lovable energy in the world. And then because it's like a filled cup to the brim, it just sloshes out on people. You're peaceful. You're accepting of yourself. I had to accept that I'm not really as nice of a person as people think I am. I'm nice and kind in the world, but I'm not syrupy sweet and like, all the time. So imagine being a person who for decades, you know, someone made a post about this morning on Instagram. And sometimes, like, y'all be very, very careful what you're taking in on social media. Because the post essentially was saying something like, make sure that you can maintain the energy that I meet you in. What a prison. What a prison. To require someone to maintain a certain energy with you. If you can't keep this energy, you know, if you can't be this way with me all the time, Dr. Flo, then don't even bother. Where's the space for people to just accept themselves and be who they are moment by moment? Why do y'all want people to be so consistent to you when you're not even consistent yourself to them or to yourself? That's weird. We're all mercurial. We're all taking in the elements of the day. You ever responded to someone differently than you would if you had eaten? Or responded to someone differently if you had drank some water? So accepting where you are in the moment and accepting who you are and not the facade is very, very freeing. The story that I'll use to illustrate this, and we're about to land, but the thing that I'll use to illustrate this is the fact that I moved from New York City to North Carolina to incubate this project well over a year ago. And North Carolinian people in this area that I'm in, they're not particularly nice to strangers. But they, in their own way, require you to like wave at them. Right? They don't really care. My neighbors are classic examples. They don't really care for me. They gossip about me and stuff by the energies that I feel and see. But this morning, Both the neighbor next door and the guy across from him, who always have giggles when Poppy Water and I are outside, these old black men definitely wanted me to acknowledge them on my walk this morning. I had to accept the fact that I'm a bitch. Nobody talks to anybody on the trains in New York City. Nobody talks to anybody walking down the streets of New York City. That's something that they've constructed here as some kind of way of getting their self-esteem built up. I don't like you and I don't like you. I'm not talking, and I accept that. And instead of pushing myself to wave and make people comfortable with my presence, I've started just simply saying, hello. What do y'all have to say? What are you bringing here today? What do you have to contribute to the discussion? Why has Dr. Flo always had to carry the conversation or make the excitement out of thin air? So I've often these days just start going, good morning, and then just waiting for something exciting to happen on the part of the other. Maybe I don't have anything to say. Maybe you don't have anything to say. But accepting this is so freeing. I spent so many years of my life in professional entertainment and beyond, and even in religion, being a pick-me. And it's wonderful to not have to be a pick-me anymore. I don't care if you pick me. I pick me. And for where I'm going, I'll only need to be picked, if ever, by a handful of people who will then pay me. And if you pay me, I always feel picked. I always feel picked by the people who pay me. Always. For those of you who are VIP members of Love and Action Network or have frequented here in the last 3 years, you will know that we read from a book called 52 Weeks of Conscious Contact with Melody Beattie. It is an Alcoholics Anonymous, Emotions Anonymous book. And this week's theme is all about blessings. And today is day 4 of the week, and so here we go. What were you looking for on that quest? Someone asked me about the 2 trips I had taken to China and Tibet to climb and visit 5 holy mountains. I'm never quite sure what I'm looking for until I find it, I said. But I became acutely aware on that trip what I had lost and what I missed. The 1990s had been hard on me. That period of time was not the dark night of the soul. It was the dark decade of the soul. I became acutely aware in China that what I missed and yearned for was the feeling of being blessed by God, blessed by higher power, blessed by yourself, blessed just because. The inventory focus today is, do you feel blessed? Would you like to feel blessed? Are you willing to forego resenting your enemies and begin blessing them instead? Do you feel blessed? Would you like to feel blessed? Are you willing to forego resenting your enemies and begin blessing them instead? I talked about this earlier in here. I don't do the revenge thing personally, and I don't consider myself to have any enemies. That's very tiring kind of energy. Those of you who are fighting people or arguing with people or going back and forth with people, I could save you like so much time and energy by just telling you to stop. Just stop. Don't make an enemy out of anything or anybody. Because the moment you make an enemy or you pick up a resentment, you begin working. The moment that you resent someone or make an enemy of someone, you punch a time clock in to start working on that resentment. And if there's any way that I could free you today, in the loving energy of Heart Chakra Wednesday, it would be to tell you to drop all of the enemy making and drop all resentments. There are people who get on my nerves. I just talk to them less. There are people who annoy me. And y'all know that, like, the way to cause me to abandon you is by getting on my damn nerves and annoying me. I just engage them less. And it's very freeing, because there's no one to make an enemy of, and there's no back and forth. It is the peace of God to not make enemies. It is the peace of God to not be against anyone. Some of y'all even saw me pick it up a little bit last week or a couple weeks ago with all of these church people. I was starting to become, in my energy, adversarial. Like, it's me versus the whole religious institution. And like, no. I don't have that to give. Because enemy making and holding on to resentments. Now, am I pretending that you're not going to have resentments in your life of the things you experience and some of the people? Yes. No. I'm not pretending that these things... Welcome back. I'm not pretending that that resentments don't happen. I'm just saying that holding on to them, as long as we've been trained to hold on to them, ruminating about them for as long as we've been conditioned to do so, is not a prison for the person you're resenting. It's a prison for you. The people who you make enemies of, the people who you resent, are not thinking about you at all. I do not care, Starlight. Y'all come in here and BB all the time. What would you be sorry about? What would you be sorry about? The BB happens every time you come in. Why are you sorry today? So yeah, holding on to resentments or enemy making or anything like that will cause a pressure inside of you. It will cause you to have to engage energies and maybe even the person themselves, Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. The text is saying, do you feel blessed? Would you like to feel blessed? Are you willing to forego resenting your enemies? Are you willing to forego resentments of people who are different than you and begin blessing them instead? I promise you, Poppy Water, I talked about this yesterday in here. Poppy Water and I are always talking about Sonder these days. This idea that we are all in our own me movie. And I promise you, nobody is thinking about you as much as you're thinking about you. It is so one of the greatest revelations of my life and horrifying moments was to discover that people care and don't care at the same time. My freedom in my community is that I tell y'all I care and I don't care at the same time. So many pastoral people and spiritual leaders are out here smiling and nodding and pretending to care. There's just certain things I do not care about. And you've noticed me ignore all of those things. Because peace is always possible. It will always be possible. Begin to bless yourself. Begin to crown yourself in goodness today. It's worth it. Let us end today. It's been an hour and 52 seconds of me just blabbing about love. Your life is your spiritual path. Don't be quick to abandon it for bigger and better experiences. You're getting exactly the experiences you need to grow. If your growth seems to be slow or uneventful for you, it is because you have not fully embraced the situations and relationships at hand. To know the self is to allow everything, to embrace the totality of who you are, all that we think and feel, all that we fear, all that we love. This is Paul Farini, found on a sign on the laundry house at Kalani Big Island, Hawaii. So this was just sitting on a sign somewhere, and this guy wrote it down, and now it's in the book. And I'll end here today. So many people are looking for a spiritual path. So many people are looking for the thou shalts and thou shalt nots of life. So many people are looking for rituals, and we within our spiritual practice here, we teach rituals and we help people with rituals. We're not poo-pooing rituals and anyone's spiritual journey. But it's important to recognize that it's not any of the smells and bells or any of the, doing the things that other people deem spiritually acceptable. I'm a person who believes that whether or not I sage my house, I'm still protected, because my spiritual practice and my spirituality and my spiritual path is not in the external things. It's my life. Your life is your spiritual path. Don't be quick to abandon it for bigger and better experiences. You're getting exactly the experiences you need to grow. If your growth seems to be slow or uneventful for you, it is because you have not fully embraced the situations and relationships at hand. Give me 1 second, y'all, to embrace the situations and relationships at hand. Would you join me in embracing the situations and relationships at hand? To know the self is to allow everything to embrace the totality of who we are, all that we think and feel, all that we fear, all that we love. If you're interested in learning more about the work that we're building and expanding within Love in Action Network and our other practitioners of hope and love, go to loveandlovable.org. If you're interested in RSVPing for a future event, including master classes and pop-up inspirational offerings, including gaming nights and beyond, you can go to loveandlovable.org. Sometime this week, I will be popping into the social, our top attendees. Let's recognize some of those folks before I move on with my life. Special thank you to Starlight, mysticbotanica.com, 16 events this week. Tara, 14 events this week. Caden, 10 events this week. Dr. Flo, 5 events this week. Brentley, 4 events this week. Angie, 3 events this week. Fractal Birth, 1 event this week. And Gabby came to 1 event this week. Thank you for your VIP membership. Coming up on the VIP calendar, I'm supposed to be singing a concert of hope tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. Waiting to Exhale comes up behind it at 6:30 p.m. with StarlightMysticBotanica.com and Poppy Water. Tomorrow, the Daily Boost is at 12 p.m. Eastern, and also Friday the same with a lot of snacks. Saturday, Tara's back in the hot seat on my day off, 1 p.m. Eastern with the Daily Boost. And then I'll be back with a concert of hope at 10 a.m. Eastern unless things shift. If you are out there in your life and you're looking for people to encourage, equip, and empower you, I know there's like a lot of you who are just stuck on, you really have like, and I understand it because I used to live this. There's a groove that you've made that says, I will never be supported. I will never find my people. I will never have what I need. And once you have set that mind virus, like once you have like gotten that mind virus, it's very hard to be healed at times. But I do want you to know today that encouragement, equipment, and empowerment is available. Someone in our network is up these days around the clock for various reasons. We also have very robust communications platforms. So if you leave a message with our live chat or any of our team, we do show back up. The people who are transformed the most in our work are the people who unapologetically ask for help. So I invite you to do that today. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free of all suffering. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free of all suffering. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free of all suffering. And may love grow bigger in our hearts today, not for the performance, but so that we would have more love inside. Because more loved and lovable people in the world will spill out into everything and onto everybody. May our hearts be full. May our joy be full. May our love be full. And may you figure out a way today to put your love in action. I'll see you around.